Okay.
Guys, what's going on? This is Matt Marinoff, Real Estate Recovery Group, and today I have the lovely Jacqueline. And Jacqueline, I call her Jax, runs
Ajax, the cleaner.
Oh, what? What was the other one?
Ajax, the cleaner.
Ajax, the cleaner. She runs an organization called Ivy Cleaning. Hold on,
Matt. Ivy Glove Cleaning.
Ivy Glove Cleaning. Hold on 1 second. Got a little issue here with the computer. And basically, I wanted to have Jackie on today because I want to talk a little bit about the fact that, we have people that are empowered, that have their own types of organizations. They're following their dreams. This young lady actually, as far as I'm concerned, she's an innovator. She's always had a side hustle. She's graduated from Columbia University. Her business is pretty much solely all women who work with her. She worked for a nonprofit organization for quite some time, and then she decided that, look, I have my side hustle. I'm working, with properties and cleaning houses and stuff like that. She really wanted to take it to the next level. So, Jackie, without further ado, first of all, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. I know you had a little bit of an emergency, and that's why we're rushing to finally get on here. But tell people a little bit about your quest. Tell people a little bit about yourself so they can understand a little bit about the backstory. Because your backstory is actually very interesting, and I think people should understand it. You look like you're 22 years old. You got how many children? You got 5 kids?
No. 3.
You got 3 kids. Tell people a little bit about yourself and who you are, and why you started your company, and what is your quest all about?
Sure. So I guess my thing, in Columbia, I studied human rights because I really wanted to be able to help people, and then after I graduated, I did get a career in helping people. I worked for Eva's Village in Patterson, which is an amazing organization with amazing people there. And I helped people. I helped people get housing, get education, get into programs to recover from addiction, things like that. However, as many people know, the nonprofit industry is great as far as helping people, but I was also a single mom with 3 kids to raise, including 2 stepkids I was taking care of at the time. So I had a side hustle, which was cleaning, and at the end of the day, when I came home from work in the nonprofit, I was very mentally drained because the things that you see, and it's deflating sometimes, because you want to help. That's why you get into that industry. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it could be mentally challenging, to deal with it. And so when I did the cleaning to supplement my income so I could take care of my family, I came home at the end of the day physically drained, but kind of like happy and helping people to get a new foundation in that way. Mm-hmm. And so I started transitioning to doing more cleaning. And then I realized in that industry, I could actually help people as well, but I could help them permanently by giving them employment that mm-hmm. paid fair wages, that paid overtime, that paid bonuses, that paid tips, that gave people a chance to have, an income, other single moms who were struggling. And we have more of a family environment at work, and then I also spanned out into working with like Cleaning for a Reason, where we did free cleanings for people going through cancer treatment. We did a lot of that in this Bergen County area. And then I also spanned out more on my own to do cleanings for people who are suffering from anxiety and depression, which is not talked about that much, but the responses from those people are overwhelming because they're sitting in their house overwhelmed with everything around them. And it's hard sometimes to just get off the couch and do something when you're in the throes of like anxiety, depression, and other mental illness. We come in there and we give them a whole new foundation to work with. It changes their life. I mean, it sounds silly, but it really does. They wake up and they're like, oh my God, I could do something else now, And so I was able to kind of take my mission of helping people and apply it within my company. And that gives me definitely like a sense of I'm doing what I wanted to do, but I'm also able to support my family and give others the chance to do the same thing.
So, one thing that I like about your story and your quest is that you've employed a lot of single women. You apply work with, you're giving people a second chance. And obviously, with everything that goes on in the real estate industry, whether you're getting ready to, sell a property, stage a property, renovate a property, do the cleanup, demolition of a property, do the final walkthrough, cleanup, or prepare for open houses, seems like you are literally all over the place now with your services. What would you say the bulk of your work is coming from right now as far as individuals?
Right now, it's a little bit different than it has been in the previous years that we've been doing this with a heavy focus on residential, which we still have. But, we're going along. Everything is good. People are working. People are excited. We're on like a growth spurt, global pandemic. You know what I mean? It's just like,
right.
That's like just, that was crazy. So what happens is now I'm getting calls. Oh, we're going to cancel. We got to cancel. We got to cancel. And I understand people don't want anyone in their house, right? They're scared because it's a global who lived through a global pandemic at my age, So now the calls that were the most upsetting were from my staff, though, because now they're calling me and they're saying, where's my schedule? I have to pay my rent. I have to pay my bills, And so now I have to kind of hustle and think like, all right, what are we going to do? They rely on me, know? And so when this happened, what I did was I created a storage space of chemicals and tools that we need. And then I also, when I got certified by the Global Biorisk Advisory Council in cleaning and sanitizing, and also took a plethora of classes via the CDC, where I think, a lot of my Columbia, like education background helped in the fact that I was able to research and apply that research into action, And then I was able to really, go and get, certified via the Red Cross and, different organizations that through my research, I felt like offered the best training. We already had a background in deep cleaning. This is what we do. But now we have to follow the proper procedures in order to keep people safe, because it's not a joke. You can't just pop up and say, oh, I'm going to sanitize, like it's not a joke. My father died of COVID, it's not a joke. So I take it seriously, and so does my staff. And so we have to take the training seriously and what we do seriously, And so there was a shift from residential into commercial and into sanitizing and into keeping people safe, through this situation. And we did a lot of cleanings for first responders and doctors and healthcare workers who didn't want to cancel their cleanings. They wanted to have us in there. They wanted us to keep their homes clean and sanitary.
Listen, I want to touch on something, and I'm not trying to get you upset, but this is fairly recent, right? So yes. You just mentioned that your own father had passed away from the COVID.
Correct.
How long ago was this?
Less than 2 weeks ago.
Right. You're a very strong individual. I mean, it's 2 weeks. I know I messaged you. You must have got like 500 messages on Facebook. It was like, the response was ridiculous. And there's, and you obviously know who the people that care about you. And I'm sorry that we're doing this type of, live, but this is important. I wanted you to come on because I need people to understand this is so serious, but at the same point, life has to go on. So it's almost like a new normal. So It's been 2 weeks. I'm sure you haven't really had the time to really mourn, what had happened. I'm in a service industry myself. I never got the time to actually mourn my own father's passing because I had so many people rely on me. And you have a staff of people that rely, and you have homeowners. You're dealing with first responders, of people that obviously are utilizing your service. Now you are in New Jersey. You're a New Jersey-based business. Are you going anywhere outside New Jersey? Or you just
We do get calls from the Rockland County area.
okay.
So we service that area to an extent. We like to stay within about a 30-minute drive. I do pay the staff well. I pay them for driving. I pay them mileage, so driving an hour and a half away to do a job for an hour is just, business-wise, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, we do travel based on the job.
Why do you care so much about your staff?
Listen, the fact is 1000%, I would not have a company if it weren't for my staff. They are my company,
right?
Like, granted, I don't leave somebody unsatisfied. I almost canceled with you because I had a little issue that I needed to resolve because I refuse to leave anybody unsatisfied,
Right.
But the fact is I was a struggling, when I tell you struggling, single mom. That was a lot. And they're the same. They're the same as me, And so when this pandemic hit and they were scared and people were closing down their businesses, I gave them a raise. I gave them $2 an hour raise each. And when they didn't work their normal amount of hours, I covered it, like I Venmo them whatever out of my pocket, to cover, hey, you normally would have made this, so here's your COVID bonus, I would call it, Corona bonus.
Your hazard pay, as you would say.
Yeah. They do receive hazard pay if they are doing sanitizing for people who currently, have COVID or have passed away in the house or, something to that effect. Because if I'm going to go in a house and clean, what do I want to get paid in order to do that job?
Right.
So I have to look at it that way. I pay more than the average cleaning company owner around here because I genuinely 100% care about the girls. I mean, they are literally like my family, they take pride. I started this company by going out myself with a mop and a bucket every morning, drop my kids off at school, take my stuff to the car. I would come home dirty. I would walk in the house and they go to hug me. I'm like, let me take a shower. I just did a hoarder house or something, So
I want to ask you this question. So you're very well educated, right?
Yes.
What college did you go to?
To Columbia in the city. That's
not really like a light school.
No, it was tough.
And what was your, if you don't mind me asking, what was your grade point average?
3.65.
So it was a B average, right?
Mostly, yeah. I mean, there were a couple classes I probably shouldn't have taken, like astronomy and symbolic logic, that kind of like.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense when you're running a cleaning business. No, the reason why I say this is because, most people that get into, from what I've seen, the cleaning industry, are people that hire people that maybe they don't have educations, maybe they can't speak 100% the language, whatever it is. But I've seen you with your crew. I've seen pictures of you with your crew. You truly have a family environment and offer, I don't want to say job security, but you actually, like you said, you're the people that are working for you are your family. They're your family members, and you treat them like how you would want to be treated. Most people don't do that, and I respect that, and I respect the hustle. How many years have you been doing the side hustle with the cleaning along with the non-for-profit stuff?
Oh, man. Whew. I couldn't even tell you. I remember the first person I ever cleaned their house was in Ridgewood.
Okay.
I was in my early 20s. I just always liked doing it. Listen, it's funny because you said like, oh, I went to Columbia, da da da. And that's true. So when I'm walking to my car in the morning and I have a mop and a bucket and cleaning supplies, people could think like, really? So I remember one time my son asked me, this is a true story. He was like, Mom, do you get like embarrassed that people think you're a cleaner? And I was like, keep watching. All right. Just keep watching.
So
Go ahead. This was a couple years ago. And now that was when I was by myself. And now I have, I think, 13 staff members, and our revenue is significant at this point.
So you have 13 staff members that are working on your team.
Yeah.
You grew it from nobody.
I'm somebody, Matt.
From nobody.
Right.
But you are somebody. To now into an actual full-blown company.
Right.
Which I have to respect, because there are a lot of people out there that are taking the shortcuts. They're stating that they're using high-end cleaning supplies. They're obviously watering it down. They're not licensed, insured, and bonded. You have all that information. You have all the paperwork.
Yeah.
You went the right way as far as setting the business up. Now, I love the name of the company, Ivy Glove. Where did it come from?
So it's funny. I have a daughter who just graduated Brandeis up outside of Boston, and
what?
She just graduated. Well, she graduated college last year. She's currently working for a tech company.
What? Okay.
So
you were 5 years old when you conceived. Yeah. Right, I got you. Go ahead.
She looks like she's 13. So okay. I was telling her I'm starting my cleaning company. Like, I have to do this. And she was like, yeah, she was like, we were talking about like white glove service and da-da-da. And she was like, oh, but you're like a step above white glove. You're like Ivy Glove, because, you went like Ivy League and stuff. And so I was like, that's so cute. Like Ivy Glove. Like, I like that, So it has like kind of personal meaning, because I really did work hard through my educational career, and I work hard through this. We do a lot of different things than some cleaners do. There was a heavy focus when I started on using tools rather than chemicals, because I realized that with a pumice stone, with a wire scrubby, with a putty knife, with a drill brush, with like these steamers, like this stuff excites me. Like you could get stuff done. Listen, I had somebody text me today, and they were like, how did you do that? My husband thought it needed to be scraped off, and I was like, it did, but my cleaners have scrapers. We have glass razors. We have, all these kind of things like weird little contraptions that I found to be like super useful. Right. I apply them, so it's not all about chemicals. I could do green cleaning. Sometimes you need bleach, you know what I mean? But like, so that really like having education does help, because right. you in the research part of everything.
Right. So who else runs the back office besides yourself?
It's mostly me. I do have an assistant who is actually a substitute teacher in town. Okay. And she helps me. A lot of my staff members I've known for a long time. They're moms of kids that my daughter did cheer with, things like that used to babysit when my kids were little. So they're pretty local to the area. And so my assistant is one of them, who grew up with my daughter, ended up, substitute teaching. She's getting her master's degree right now. From William Patterson, and she's going to be hopefully a college professor one day, but she does a lot of my spreadsheets and all that stuff, so I could do what I have to do.
So right now, individual people, they're cleaning their houses.
Yes.
What would you say to somebody who's cleaning their house prior to COVID versus now cleaning their property? Like, what kind of free advice can you give somebody who's a renegade who wants to go out there and literally clean their own shit?
I mean, if you want to clean your own shit, as far as like your house, you don't want to hire somebody because you don't want anyone in the house. Just do a little bit of research on, what this is a problem. All right. Because I've had some pictures sent to me recently from clients that hired companies to do a sanitizing, but they're not
Mhm.
cleaners. They're people who popped up because COVID happened and they want to make money and do sanitizing. There's nothing wrong with people making money. I'm all for that, right? But you
Mhm.
have to research. So now I have people sending me pictures like they sprayed this on my marble. What do I do? Well, that's a corrosive ingredient that they're sprayed on your marble, but they're not cleaners, so they don't understand that. So you have to be very careful with what you're using on what surfaces, you're using them on. Anyone could text me and ask me questions. I have no problem with that. I give out free cleaning advice all the time.
Mhm.
Um, and be careful with who you hire. I'm not saying hire me, but you don't have to, you could hire anybody, you know what I mean? But just
Right.
ask them some questions, and make sure they know what they're talking about. You don't want somebody spraying chemical disinfectant onto your keyboard webcam, onto your, office paperwork,
Right.
you don't want your surfaces being ruined. Vinegar is not going to kill everything. Is there going to be a ton of virus lurking around on every surface? Probably not. My staff has done sanitizing for funeral homes, residential homes with people, walking around with COVID. Those are separate staff that go in and do residential. We don't go
Mhm.
into a COVID house and then go and do a residential. It's a
Mhm.
whole separate team. And grocery stores and multiple places, they have to have the proper protective equipment on. But the point is, and one policy that I have, yeah, you have to wear a mask and gloves now, right? But you shouldn't be socializing with the clients. Whereas before, you
Mhm.
might sit down and have a cup of coffee and ask about the kids and da da da. Right now, we do ask that the clients are not in the room or socializing with our staff like they used to for right now, or maybe not in the house or they're downstairs in the basement, whatever. So if you just don't want that at all, and you want to clean your own home, sanitize the high traffic areas, use steam. Steam is great. You have to have a certain temperature and you have to be a certain distance away from the surface in order to correctly sanitize with steam. But steam, Dawn and warm water is going to kill the coronavirus. You just have to keep it there for a certain amount of time. That's why they say hand wash for 30 seconds.
All right.
Or
So I want to ask you this question. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, they want to call or text you, are you offering free estimates for people?
we always do free estimates. That's standard. Um, So yeah, we always do free estimates. At this time, I do some in-person estimates. A lot of people just want a flat rate estimate. That's fine. We work with everybody. I
We're not,
get it.
listen, we're not going to talk numbers today, right? But I
Yeah,
want people to know Jackie's direct number, her cell number is on the screen. It's 973 955 She's
correct.
offering free estimates. So, I mean, worst case scenario, you're cleaning your house yourself. Why not try to figure out what it would be like to have an actual professional come in and take a look? Look,
It's the best.
what's that?
It's the best.
No, I know.
I get my house done once a week. It is, and I only get it done if the schedule's not too full.
Right,
So if I have to, like, because I prioritize my clients. So if the
right.
schedule's full and I can't get my house done, and I'm just like, oh God, it's
Well,
terrible.
I know one of your clients personally. We're not going to say the person's name, but I will say this. I know that they were going through a hard time, and I know that you guys had gone there. You cleaned the property, and then you also somebody left the basket or whatever it was, like to pick up, like a pick me up or whatever it was.
Oh,
So you know who I'm talking about.
yeah.
So it's amazing that because I mean we've had cleaning people come into our house. We had a cleaning lady for a while, and then it didn't work out, and then my wife just ended up taking over the duties or whatever it is. No pun intended with the duties. And so it was just it's weird to hear, and your name is literally like all over the place now. And I know that one of my buddies, he's in real estate, but his family actually owns, I know at least one gas station.
Hmm.
And I saw some pictures on your Facebook page, and you were talking, and I don't know if there's a video intro or whatever it was, but I'm intrigued. So, gas station? What is it that you're cleaning at the gas station?
Everything.
Okay.
It's not only, we don't pump gas in New Jersey, right? But what about the staff? Like they matter too. I mean,
Right.
for example, we did sanitizing for all the Riccardi Brothers stores, right? They weren't even allowing people in the stores. They take their orders, they leave them outside the door. But
Right.
there's staff that works there. So
Right.
they cared enough about them that they said sanitize. They're like, you know what? Sanitize everything. Go into the back, the paint cans, the supplies, all of it, because they want their staff to be walking through the store and not feeling like kind of icky. I mean, this is like an unknown territory, people don't know about this. So why not just be safe? Why not just be safe? So if a gas station is hiring us, it's because they care enough that they have their staff working there. They have people going into the store. They want everybody to walk around and say, all right, oh, they gave a crap enough to where they paid this company to come in and make sure their staff is safe.
Now,
The
do you
people that are
guys,
going
do you
to
guys
stores.
leave stickers or do you leave signs saying that, hey, this job site was sanitized by X, Y, and Z, like your company?
Yes. Yeah, that's important. That's important because I personally would feel better. There's a grocery store by me that we sanitized a couple times a week. I only shopped there because not only because I felt like, oh, this is good because we sanitized it, right? But I shopped there because I wanted to give them business because I felt like they gave a crap enough about their staff who are walking in that store to where they hired us a couple times a week, to come in before they opened and sanitize everything, including the shopping carts in the parking lot, in the doors, and the everything.
Listen, I want to interrupt you for good things here. So here is, hold on. And, we have an issue with StreamYard showing people's actual names. But here's a perfect example. It says, Jackie is my homegirl. Her crew is amazing. Captivate and I are Team Ivy Glove for life. That is Jen Romero's comment.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. We know who that person is. Here's somebody else put a comment here. Sounds like an amazing company. I love her cause.
Aww.
This is pretty cool too. She's really great. Her crew is so professional. They are excellent. Their post-construction cleaning is so on point.
Love post-construction. My favorite.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. And then it says, I literally can't say enough great
Who are
things
these people? I can't see their names.
Well, the thing is that because StreamYard and Facebook, for whatever reason, butt heads, when we do these lives, people can actually go on there and they can opt in and they can actually add their name.
Oh, okay. So it's like an extra step. That's annoying.
Right. So for whatever reason, they don't do it. So I thought it's important to show those types of things where people are saying nice things about you and the company and the services that you provide. Look, this is also going to end up being a podcast. So, hey, look, there's your chief operating officer there.
It's my assistant.
That's your assistant. If somebody wants to reach out to you, the best way would probably be, because I know you're busy during the day, do you like texting?
I love texting because what happens is somebody calls me and we discuss 10 things while I'm doing 10 things.
Right.
And then they call me back and they're like, oh, this is, Susan from before. And I'm like looking frantically for their text. And I'm like, oh, man, there's no text. So I just like to have things on writing. And that way also somebody could say, well, you gave me this price, and I could look, oh, yes, I did. Something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I definitely love texting. I'm super responsive with texting.
The website is ivyglove.com, correct?
Correct. Yep. You could go on there and just book an estimate. Everything is automated. You could go on and book an estimate. You could go on if you're a client. If I know you and I did an estimate already, you could just go on and book your cleaning and say, I want you guys to come Thursday, June 5th, whatever. And then I'll put in the cleaning. If you're a new client, you could go on and just book an estimate and I could, show up. Basically it's, you book, you look at your calendar. I want Jackie to come next week on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Boom, I show up, I'm at your door,
So guys, I actually went to the website on this live, the stream live. So it says ivyglove.com. You can go on there if you are, currently working with her and maybe you lost touch or for whatever reason you're using the service and they want to get back in touch, go on there, book your service, your servicing calls, whatever it is. I saw the website. I like it because it's not like some of these websites. You got all the bells and whistles, sirens coming at you, 3D action. It's very to the point, which is good because that's how my site is built as well. People can reach out to you.
I like to keep it simple. Like on the website, book, we show up, we do a good job, boom, we're done. Like you're happy.
There's a phone number they can reach you at. And there's questions I want to ask. I want to get through it, but they can reach you at the 973-955-5295. 973-955-5295. They can reach out. They can text you. Guys, if you want, you can say, hey, I saw you on RRG Live, or I saw you on a live, or whatever it is. People don't know this, but, this is probably one of many to come with lives with you, Jackie. But as of right now, how many lives have you actually done?
0.
So I would say so far, I think you're doing pretty good. I think it's pretty impressive. There are a couple of questions, obviously, that I do want to ask, that I would definitely like to try to get through. So I'm going to put the website up on here right now, so people, while we go through some of the questions, if they want, obviously they can go to it. We covered obviously your father's passing, and we're very, very sorry, obviously, for that. We covered the reason of why you actually started the company. This is important because I think people need to understand that there really is a difference in cleaning companies and services that are provided. What kind of cleanings does the company actually perform? And is there a difference? And incidentally, you do residential and you do commercial work, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what would you say the difference in the cleaning might have been prior to the COVID environment? We'll start with residential first.
People are definitely more hesitant to have us inside their home because they're scared. There was also a lot of information presented to where people didn't know if they were allowed to have us inside their home. Whereas actually throughout this pandemic, residential and commercial house cleaners were considered essential, which I did get verified by our city, by our state, I'm sorry. And there was even a mayor of a town that did put out, a newsletter saying that, residentials are not considered essential, please. And I did contact them and tell them that they were misinformed. They did do their research and apologized for that, because that is going to put people out of work that don't necessarily need to be out of work, right? If it might not be me, but there's other people. I want, some people prefer just having a housekeeper. That's fine. I want them to make money too. They're supporting their family too, So there was some misinformation. And then there was, so it's more of people being a little bit nervous, right? We go to great lengths to keep our staff safe, which we have been throughout this whole entire thing. There hasn't been one incident, even in people who are sanitizing, current places that have, people who are COVID positive walking around, because I do provide correct equipment for them to wear. And also common sense goes really far.
So you think a lot of, so you had mentioned early on in the interview here that you had stated that there are people out there that are popping up. There's pop-up services and they're offering these types of services. What would you say to somebody that they could look out for somebody who might potentially say that they do what you do, but they don't do it? What would be the first telltale sign that say that the person is full of poop?
I would check to see like what lanes did they go to get certified in anything. There's some companies like ServPro that are perfect for this. They're already certified in everything. Then they do some research, so they're great. But then there could be like, a company or a person that's like, I got a fogger, I'm gonna go sanitize, and they don't know what they're spraying. They never even heard of the EPA list N. Like they don't know anything. I would ask questions. I would say, what are you using? What surfaces is it safe for? What's dwell time? Do you know these things? Like, because it's serious. Like, you don't want somebody to just come in and pretend like, oh, I know what I'm doing, I'm sanitizing everything, and meanwhile they're just kind of spraying around and leaving, you know. And the other thing I would watch for is price gouging. You know, people that are charging like a ridiculous amount of money per square foot, you know, how long are the people there for? Are you charging like $2,500 and they're there for 2 hours? You know, like there's a lot of people that take advantage, you know.
And so before we actually went live, you had mentioned a scenario which we don't have to talk about, but the price was so outlandish, and you went in and you offered your services, and your services were reasonable, and the person was so blown away, you know, I guess by the honesty of what you were offering in the services, but was upset. And, you know, obviously in this time, you know, of need, and people are so leery of individuals that are preying on people and their innocence in this, and they're offering,
and their fear. And that's what pisses me off, is that people are scared, and they kind of bank on that fact, like, oh, COVID exists on every surface. And you know what I mean? Like, come on, like, let's be realistic. And again, common sense, you know. And I don't think it's ethical to just, you know, bank on people's fear. I don't think it's ethical. I had somebody call me, she wanted to schedule cleaning and sanitizing, but she wanted to do it like 3 weeks from then because her husband was on disability. She hadn't received her unemployment check because no one did at that point, you know, from the state. And she was like super overwhelmed. And she was like, all right, I'm going to book you like a month out or 3 weeks out. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and sanitize for you. Don't even worry about it. You know, like, we did the cleaning, sanitized her house, and didn't charge her anything, you know?
You mean you didn't charge any money?
I didn't charge anything. Now, I don't go do that all over the place. You know, I'd be out of business, right? But there are certain extenuating circumstances that I take a look at, you know, and I think it changed like her whole entire week, you know. Like, she was super appreciative, and those are the kind of things, like, I feel like happy that I'm able to do. It's small, but you know.
Does insurance cover any of this?
So insurance, insurance covers things such as, you know, water damage, smoke damage, situations like that. Sometimes even like rodent cleanup and stuff. But I've never heard of insurance covering for this particular situation yet. I might be wrong. You know, maybe somebody out there is listening to this and could chime in, you know. That I'm not sure of.
I mean, that would be amazing if they would offer some type of service like that. I think that would be amazing, especially if somebody has gone through it. Maybe it's gone to the property itself. But who knows? I mean, it is what it is. I know there's money out there for services. I know there's money out there from the government to help people. I know that there's a lot of shysters out there.
A lot.
That have really beat the system to the point where they're taking money unnecessarily.
Yeah.
It's really hurting companies that are out there that actually could really utilize the money and the capital to keep their business going. So
I fortunately was not in the position where I needed to apply for any of the loans because my business did stay strong through this whole thing, and we actually grew a little bit. So that was a good thing, you know. That was a good thing for my staff and for myself.
Oh, absolutely. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, obviously they can contact you, which, you know, many people don't want to do it. They just want to like leave it where it's a toll-free service. People reach out to you. And, you know, you might get to the point where you might have to actually have a service like that in place. And it actually, believe it or not, it sends you the information directly to your phone and or email. So when somebody's reaching out to you, you actually have a representative standing by, take the necessary information that you need,
right?
Intake, and that way it actually gets emailed to an assistant or a team member, but it also gets sent directly to your phone. So when you're ready and you have time, you can actually reach out to those people. So
right.
I could show you an example because I use that service and it helps, especially at night or the weekends or a holiday.
Right. I answer my phone all the time. That's one thing my clients know about me. I'm a night owl. I've had people text me at 10 o'clock, like, oh, are they definitely coming tomorrow? You know, like, because they've had other services not show up, you know, for their
Yeah.
move and cleaning. So they're scared, you know,
No, no,
so
no, no, 100%, 100%.
very responsive.
So, all right. So we're talking about preparing services, cleaning services. We're giving people obviously advice on how to maintain the cleaning of the property. We're talking about what type of services you provide for residential. We'll get to commercial in a second. We
Oh yeah.
talk.
So for residential, we do, standard, bi-weekly, weekly cleaning. We have a lot of add-ons such as laundry, folding, pretty much anything that has to do with interior. My insurance covers. The only thing that we're not covered for are exterior, windows and cleaning.
You guys also offer power washing of houses?
I don't offer power washing, but I have somebody who's really good that does power washing.
Mhm.
We do post-construction cleaning. We do,
Right. So let's talk about post-construction cleaning.
sure.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Basically, when you're, getting a renovation done, any kind of construction on the interior of your home, sanding, finishing floors, etc., you're gonna have a major amount of dust settlement and also dust in the air,
Mhm.
which isn't good to breathe in, and it's not livable unless you have it cleaned. It's just not livable. I mean, it gets everywhere. It gets inside of closed refrigerators, microwaves, cabinetry, closets,
Mhm.
walls, any surface. It's going to stick to it. It's very fine dust. So we go in and we do those dust cleanups.
Mhm.
And then we normally run some air scrubbers, which, does remove particles and odors from the air. And we might leave it with the client for a day or two, so they could kind of rotate it around the house and just have it, kind of like as an extra, because we could go in and do a whole post-construction cleaning. There's still dust all over in the air.
That's actually a good question. Okay, so you're talking about post-construction cleaning. What if there's a space in the house that has a particular odor? Can the odor actually be removed out from the scrubbing machine?
Yeah, so as long as you add a carbon filter, which I do have in my air scrubbers,
Right.
and then it's really good, especially with that horrible smell when you get your floors refinished of the polyurethane,
Mhm.
or paint. I've had, we did a cleanup from fire damage,
Mhm.
and they ran the air scrubber, and the homeowner was just blown away with the fact that it didn't smell anymore. So you just have to, consistently change the filters and run carbon filters, HEPA filters. My air scrubbers have 3 filters in them. So they're really good for odor control.
All right. So obviously, talk about post-construction cleanup. Let's talk about the commercial side. Let's talk
Mhm.
about the commercial services. We touched base on a gas station. On the commercial spaces, what's it like? Are you going into environments where there's skeleton staff, where maybe there's not as many people? Are you doing warehouses? Give us a little bit of insight on the commercial side.
Yeah, so some of our clients include warehouses, hair salons, dental offices, doctor offices, realtor companies, pretty much anything you could think of. I tend to not do restaurants. That's the only thing that I'm not really, restaurant kitchen cleaning. But other than that, we pretty much cover everything. It's kind of unfortunate with this whole, COVID situation that, our hair salons did close. And that's terrible for the staff and for the owners. But now, places are starting to open back up, and they
Right.
want to have their places cleaned and sanitized before, clients start coming in. I've had people ask if we could have somebody there all day, just kind of like wiping down everything. And
Mhm.
people aren't really sure what the best thing is to do, because there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot
Mhm.
of information, conflicting information flying around everywhere. It's
Right.
on surfaces, it's not on surfaces. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, and so people don't know, they don't know what to do,
But
and
you,
so.
but you do know what to do.
Right. And so that's why when people call me and say, what do I do? I try to just focus on the common sense aspect of it. And on top of that, I do come from a family of a lot of medical professionals, doctors and nurses and stuff. So I kind of grew up, in that environment. My own brother's like, a chemist and stuff. But like,
Well, so he's not really smart.
No. So you have to use a lot of common sense, and a virus is going to be particularly spread from person to person contact, and so your first form of defense is eliminating that person to person contact in your business, whether it's residential cleaning or commercial cleaning. That's going to be the number one thing that's going to keep people mostly safe, and then the second line of defense is sanitizing the surfaces where there might be people who could potentially have the coronavirus and they sneezed and now it's everywhere. That's a fact. That could happen. If they might not be wearing a mask, they might be wearing a mask that's ineffective, and so that's where the sanitizing comes in of high touch areas, light switches, buttons on things, doorbells, things like that multiple random people might have access to.
Jackie, what do you think sets your company aside from other cleaning companies?
I think the quality of our work is awesome. I think that they take pride and they have standards, and I don't rush them through things. If they call and they say, Jack, your estimate, it's not 3 hours, we're going to have to be here for 5 hours. I'm not going to say, no, hurry up, 3 hours, you're done. I say, all right, that's my fault. That's a lesson I'm going to have to learn, comes out of my pocket, whatever, make me better at what I do. We are fully insured as far as workers' comp insurance and liability insurance.
Right.
That's not important until something happens, people could not care about that until somebody falls off a ladder in their house. And now all of a sudden their homeowner's insurance is being sued,
Right.
With workers' comp insurance, you don't have to worry about that. They're going to be suing my workers' comp insurance and your homeowner's insurance is left out of it, and then on top of that, I do pay a fair and living wage. And so I have longevity in my staff. I have people that have been with me from the day that I opened my doors, the same people. Those clients get to see the same people month after month, year after year at this point, We use quality products. We have a heavy focus on, different equipment and tools to use, and not just chemicals. I don't water down chemicals. We use things that work.
You know what I want to ask you? Do you guys have machinery that actually cleans hardwood floors?
What do you mean, like as far as
like you go into a house
and stuff?
I don't know if I'm going to say buffers, but you go into people's houses and like there's a high traffic area and then there's a low traffic area, and you can actually tell the difference where the floor is actually dirty, where the floor needs to be cleaned.
No, our equipment would be vacuuming and mopping. You just have to vacuum and mop with the right thing. And sometimes what happens in the high traffic areas is that it looks like it's not as clean because people might be using the wrong cleaning product on the floors. And then it kind of develops a buildup of cleaning product. And so in that high traffic area, you're seeing footprints and shoe marks and barefoot marks and sock marks. And that's actually cleaning product buildup, So that's something that we've had to address in several places, especially hair salons, is how to remove that cleaning product buildup, on these kind of floors, especially that hardwood or that compressed wood. That's difficult, So it might not be dirt as much as cleaning product buildup that's kind of being smudged around.
So again, if somebody wants to reach out to you, you are offering the free estimates. You can go into the website, which is ivyglove.com. Right now you're just serving the New Jersey area.
Yep.
And you like to have your team within a 30-minute distance. Obviously, if you get multiple bookings in a certain area, then it obviously would make things easier.
Yeah, we did several sanitizing jobs in New York City. A lot of grocery stores, C-towns, and food marts and stuff like that. We went in at night and they sanitized over there. So, it depends on the scope of the project.
Understood. So we're not going to get into the billing side of it or the square footage. You guys have the matrix on that. And obviously, you're offering, the free estimates. So they can text message you, which is probably the best, which is the 973-955-5295. Or they can go to the website, which is ivyglove.com. and they can book estimates. They can actually book time, to have your company come in there and roam around and stuff like that. I love having people on like yourself. We talked about a couple of different things. We talked about the charity work that you provide. You talked about a homeowner where there was unemployment, disability, and they need to book 30 days out. And you basically, were willing to offer your services, obviously for free. I'm sure there's a way where you can actually write that off during tax time. If they sign off on a document, I don't know if you're aware of that or not, where you were actually, in the property and that, you did it as a charitable donation. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
I wasn't. Thank you.
I just want to throw that out there because even though you're doing it as a service, you're offering it as a charitable donation, you should definitely reap the benefits from it because you want to make sure, obviously you don't want to waste your time and efforts and having your team out there and then, not being able to, move forward. I appreciate the fact that you came on or that you've come on here and
Thank you for having me.
Talk a little bit about the pandemic and everything like that. Love the fact that you're doing charity work. I am very truly sorry, obviously, about the passing of your father. Obviously, I understand how that works. I love the fact that you're offering your service residential and you're also doing it commercial. And the post-construction, obviously, cleanup is huge. If somebody's listening out there and they think that this type of service might be for them, or if they want to reach out, obviously to Jackie directly, the information's on the screen. They can reach out to her. As far as what we're providing every single day, we're coming out here. We're offering a service. We want people to know that they have, a place where they can come on during the lunch hour and they can hear a little bit about interesting stories from people from all walks of life that are in real estate. This segment was very important because I want people to understand the difficulties of what we're in right now in the environment with, the COVID-19. And look, like everything else that pops up, there's going to be answers. There's going to be vaccines. And obviously, there might be some lingering cases here and there going forward. But as of right now, I think the new normal is what people are doing with the masks. And some people are really blinging the shit out of those things.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool that they're actually doing that. The show is on Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And if you're in the type of business that we're in, which is the real estate business, and you have a service or a product and it is related to real estate, by all means, reach out because we're always looking for, guests to come on. Tuesdays and Thursday nights or when available, we come on, we have special guests, and/or we're also going to be doing some recapping going forward in the next week or two on files from the company and scenarios that pop up. So, Jackie, at the end of every show, I ask people to try to do the finger point because I want to see if they can do what I'm always doing with the pointing. All right. I see what you did there. Now, you stuck your tongue out, which is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a 7. I can't give you a 10. I'm digging the lips. You're a 7. You're a 7.5. It's hard to get a 10. I'm not going to lie. When you get like that and you whip it out like that, so your finger is literally dead on balls accurate. You're right there. So, I'm going to give you an 8 just for that alone because it is pretty strong. I can't give you a 10. I'm sorry. Can't give you a 10. Thank you so much for coming on. I really, truly appreciate it. Thanks,
Matt.
I know you're a busy person. Hold on one sec. Let me log off and we'll talk real quick.